Now, seeing the newer mid-ranges from many different brands, I started to think that if these mid-ranges are this much good, offering this much capabilities, then are these kind of flagships like from Apple or Samsung worth it? So in this video, I'm going to compare the Nothing Phone 2a, a very popular mid-ranger phone from Nothing that cost only $349 in the US, and in certain other markets it's $270, versus iPhone 15 Plus, which is the iPhone's bigger model of the standard iPhone 15 from the flagship iPhone 15 series, which cost $899 in the US, and in India it's $960. So the price gap is literally 2.5 times. But is it really a 2.5 times better phone compared to the Nothing Phone 2a? And that's what something that even I am curious to see. Let's figure things out in this video. I'm going to look at 8 different types of things in these two phones, and I'm going to see how close the Nothing Phone 2a goes towards the iPhone. The first one is the build quality. There is an obvious difference. If you look past the looks, looks is subjective. Sometimes people will say, I love the subtle looks of the iPhone. Some people say, I love the quirky things, the glip lights of the Nothing Phone 2a. Yes, I know that, but overall, I'm not looking at the looks here, because other than the crazy rear end of the Nothing Phone 2a, the phone's dimensions are very similar. The Nothing Phone is just slightly more taller than the iPhone, but the iPhone is more wider, but also slimmer. Yet both of them had 6.7-inch screens. But the major difference I've seen is actually the plastic phone feels more lighter, even though it's only 10 grams lighter compared to the 201 gram of the iPhone 15 Plus. But it seems more lighter. But also it feels kind of cheap in the hand. The iPhone, on the other hand, has the premium materials, aluminum build, and frosted glass back. And then on top of that, the iPhone has IP68 dust and water resistance up to 6 meters for 30 minutes, which is great. But this one, the Nothing Phone, only has IP54. So overall, if you look at it, then the iPhone is a clear winner, it seems. But not that much. Because there is one cool thing that you should know. The plastic back won't shatter if you drop it. But the iPhone's back glass will give you troubles. And it costs a lot more to repair that. So keeping all of that into account, I would say the Nothing Phone is about 65% off the iPhone in terms of build quality. But I'm talking about only build quality, not the looks. Next thing I'm going to look at is actually the display. The iPhone obviously should have a much better screen than the Nothing Phone 2a. It does have much more better color reproduction, much better screen to body ratio, about 88% compared to 87.6 of the Nothing Phone, and much more pixel dense display. It's 460 ppi versus 394 ppi on the Nothing Phone. And literally on top of that, there is ceramic sealed glass as protection, which in testing has been seen much better than Corning Gorilla Glass 5, which is on top of the Nothing Phone 2a. Not bad though. And then you have the 2000 nits of peak brightness versus 1300 on the Nothing Phone 2a. Now, even if I show you on video, it doesn't appear that much, but in real life, there is a visible difference between the iPhone's display and the Nothing Phone's display under direct sunlight. But here is the thing. The Nothing Phone 2a is the first mid-ranger, I think, to come with slim and symmetrical bezels that used to only come to the flagship phones. So literally, if I look at it, even in this video, both of these phones has tempered glass on, so the bezel size doesn't appear right. But I'm going to show you other footages that clearly shows that the screen to body ratio doesn't actually reflect in real life as much. They both are equally slim and symmetrical bezels. And it looks so gorgeous on the Nothing Phone 2a that it doesn't feel like it's a mid-ranger display. And the color accuracy is close to what the iPhone offers. Maybe slightly here and there differences are, but you're not going to do any color work on it. So it actually doesn't matter. But then we have the big thing, the refresh rate. The Nothing Phone has 1 to 120 Hz LTPO refresh rate. This is something that we have on the Pro Max of the iPhone 15 lineup. Whereas this iPhone only has 60 Hz. That's real bad. But then you have another thing, the high brightness manually. This one on the iPhone is actually 1000 nits. But on the Nothing Phone 2a, if you do it manually, just like the iPhone, it is actually 1100 nits. But that is actually visible. If you do it manually, like in this video, you can see the Nothing Phone is brighter than the iPhone. The Nothing Phone 2a has much better PWM rating. It's 2160 Hz versus only 480 Hz on the iPhone. So if you are PWM sensitive, or if you're not, you might become one using this iPhone. But on the Nothing Phone 2a, at least it does have better PWM. So in the display category, even if I would still want to give the iPhone the winner, it's actually the Nothing phone that is winner in my eyes. So that's why it's a tie. The next is performance. And this is not even a comparison. In this department, this Nothing Phone 2A in the multi-core score is similar to what the iPhone brings in the single-core department. So the iPhone is a clear winner. But this Nothing Phone is not lagging. It's not stuttering. It can still do multitasking pretty well and better than the iPhone because of the Android operating system. But because of the optimization with 8GB of RAM versus 6GB on the iPhone, it still can perform really good. But if you compare it side by side, or if you start to go from one phone to another, you will see that there is a difference. Or if you push it too much, then yes, the Nothing Phone will struggle a lot. The iPhone won't. Or if you click photos, then the Nothing Phone actually takes quite a bit of time to process these photos thanks to this chip. I mean, not so much thanks. And you will see it in many different scenarios. Let's say you trimmed a massively long video. The iPhone would be much more faster than the Nothing Phone could ever be able to do. But being a 4nm chipset is still very efficient. That's a good thing. So in the performance department, keeping all kinds of users in mind, I would say it's about 50% of what the iPhone would provide. The next is battery and charging. I actually have a video on Nothing Phone versus iPhone in terms of battery test, and there I found out the Nothing Phone lasts a lot more than the iPhone. Even though the battery capacities are different, like 4383 on the iPhone versus 5000 mAh battery, but then I have to give you this. The performance numbers are insane, so it does put more pressure on the CPU, the iPhone, whereas it doesn't have that much performance, so it can't push it that much. So that's why it kind of saves the battery. So I would say it's a tie in the battery department. By the charging department, it's 45-watt fast charging versus only 20-watt charging. So it's a definitely clear win for the Nothing Phone 2A. It charges real quick. 20-watt charging is not that fast. The Nothing Phone doesn't have wireless charging or reverse wired charging either, which is something that is inside the iPhone. But the Nothing Phone doesn't support wireless charging at all. So in the battery department, both of these are beast. By the charging department, it's a tie. Next is software. You have totally clear choice. Whether you want to go Android or iPhone, it's up to you. But if I look at from a distance perspective, keeping iOS 18 in mind, I would say they both are very similar. Nothing Phone already offers a lot of customization options, a lot of widgets on the lock screen as well as on the home screen. Yes, these are unique and it has its own unique identity. It's just not trying to copy the iPhone or not having another Android skin. It is very unique. The iPhone of its own is very unique, but trying to be more Android-like in terms of customization and other options with iOS 18. But overall, I would say that because iPhone will also bring the locking application and stuff like that, even though it doesn't offer the cloning application, which the Nothing Phone offers as of yet, I would say it's a tie. Both of them are equally good. They're equally smooth. I haven't seen that much lags or bugs as much, but I will say if you're not particularly looking for one specific types of operating system or you're not tied to operating system or ecosystem, then yeah, you could go either one of them and both are equally good. So it's tie. The next is biometrics. Biometrics department, I would say Face ID is way more secure than the Touch ID or the fingerprint scanner on the Nothing Phone 2A, but I don't mind either one of them. They are equally fast, and Nothing Phone will give you trouble a little bit because it's optical compared to the ultrasonic on the Samsung's Ultra models, but that's understandable. It's a budget phone after all. Yes, the Nothing Phone sitting on the table can be unlocked, but for the iPhone, you have to either bend down to unlock the phone, or maybe you have to place the phone in a way that it can scan your face. That's why it will unlock. But then the iPhone one is more secure. The Nothing Phone's one is not as secure, but it's also slightly slower in comparison. So overall, it's a tie again. But are the speakers good? In this story, I would say it's a clear win for the iPhone because the iPhone wins. This iPhone particularly wins in the speakers department compared to many phones in the market. I've seen so many phones, but the iPhone speakers, in terms of the stereo setup, even though the Nothing Phone also has the stereo setup, but it's the clarity, the quality, the bass, everything is just too good. I love the speakers on the iPhone. But because the Nothing phone is not performing badly, but it's just not as good as the iPhone, I would say it's 75% of what the iPhone can give you in terms of speakers. But then the big difference, the camera. This is where things getting complicated. The main camera of the Nothing phone is a 50 megapixel f1.9 1/1.56 inch sensor versus 48 megapixel f1.6 1/1.56 inch sensor on the iPhone. So sensor size are similar, but the f1.6 comes in real handy in many scenarios. I think the iPhone's f1.6 aperture alone is a clear win, but all isn't in the camera hardware anymore. It's also in the software. In the software department, the Nothing phone, because of the chip, it is slow to process. The HDR isn't the most satisfactory. Then the quality difference. If you look at this photo, the iPhone's 48 megapixel photo is just way too detailed compared to the 50 megapixel full resolution photo on the Nothing phone. Why is it that much better? Like 2.5 times better? No. But in low light scenarios, I would say still the iPhone is a winner. But again, it's not 2.5 times winner. Same goes for the ultra wide angle cameras. It's the 12 megapixel on the iPhone and 50 megapixel on the Nothing phone 2A. And qualities are good in both scenarios. And under direct sunlight though, both of them can actually take good photos. But then you might be thinking, well, then the iPhone is clear winner. No, not exactly though. Because the iPhone actually can't focus on a closer subject. Yes, I'm not talking about too close. I'm talking about the minimum distance that the iPhone 11 can shoot at. But then you might be thinking, video camera is where the iPhone wins by a lot. Even though the iPhone can take Dolby Vision HDR videos, or cinematic mode is there like the portrait video, or it can also take ProRes videos using a third-party application. But Nothing phone doesn't have any of that. Neither it has manual controls. But the standard automatic videos are really good in this phone. Like because of the f1.9 aperture, it can do really good videos. But it's still very surprising that a budget phone of this category can do really good under studio lighting conditions as well. I would say the Nothing phone 2A compared to this specific iPhone model, it's 85% of what the iPhone can provide in terms of cameras. Now, I'm not taking account the 32 megapixel selfie camera on the Nothing phone versus the 12 megapixel on the iPhone. I mean, I don't take that much selfies, so they both are good. They both will produce good photos, good videos. The HDR is definitely better on the iPhone, and it can take 4K videos compared to 1080p only on the Nothing phone. So I don't care about the selfie camera, so I'm gonna ignore that. But you can surely give the win to the iPhone in terms of selfie cameras. So ultimately, in conclusion, I want to say you may both saw it, right? That the Nothing phone as a mid-range in this case isn't that far away from a flagship, in this case, the iPhone 15 Plus, that much. It's very similar in many key areas. Sometimes it's even better than the flagship. But you have to consider that certain things in the flagships will always be like a flagship quality. And on top of everything else, this is not the best case scenario either. I'm not comparing 5 different mid-ranges with 5 different flagships here. All I'm trying to say here is that as much as we thought that the mid-range phone would be trash compared to a flagship phone, it's not exactly that anymore. At least in 2024. Maybe it will change over the years and some things better will come, or maybe it will get worse compared to flagships. But that's something we will explore in the future. But one big thing is that the price difference is massive. Like you can literally buy 2.5 or sometimes 3.5, depending on the market, mid-range phones at a price of one flagship phone. And that too, I'm not talking about the most high-end flagship. That would be probably like 4 or 5 mid-range phones at a price of one flagship phone. But still, a flagship is a flagship, a mid-ranger is a mid-ranger. By the way, clear disclaimer, this is my own iPhone and this is also my own Nothing phone 2A. And I'm not trying to praise or hate either one of them. I was just curious about how much better the iPhone is. Or is it actually better? That's the thing. Anyway, that's probably it. Let me know about your thoughts in the comment section below. What you think about this, if you're not stuck to any ecosystem or operating system. And yes, if you feel like you need some really cool wallpapers for your devices, whether it's a tablet or a smartphone or even a laptop, well, I have some crazy cool 8K wallpapers, stunning designs, and amazing colors. Visit my website, joindavid.com, link down below. And until the next one, bye and take care.